Okay, I have the iNaho Tierkey here. It is a high pin count dimple lock. It's got pins from the left and right side. There are 7 from the left and 6 from the right. There's a 7th chamber on the right that just has a ball bearing to give it some center bias. And there are a bunch of, what are they? They're like spool driver pins, but they're more mushroom shaped. And then a lot of the key pins have overset capture things. So that if you if you start to go to overset them, you might get a little counter rotation and then think they're a little spool and then overset them and then you're in trouble. So to pick this, I've used it a lot before. It's just 2 Z-bars sandwiched in a 3D printed holder, but it nicely fills a lot of these dimple keyways to the right width. And then this particular lock has like a ledge on the top and bottom where you can't go in, but if you lift it up a little, then it goes into the keyway, right? So what I like the height of this. The problem is if I put it all the way in, if there are areas where there's a no lift on both sides, a lot of times I have a very hard time getting the pick between the pins on the left and right side to get past that. So to get by that, I'm gonna have it out here, and that allowed me to go underneath the pins like that, while at the same time getting the advantage of this little height boost off of these picks. You could pick it from up here like this, tension like that, and then pick off the bottom of the keyway, then you have no problem with it. But then as I go back, I'm not hitting any pins, so I have to kind of lift it up to get to the pins or tilt it to get to the pins, and it's harder to stay on the pins and find the pins that way. So I kind of like just going right here, and that gives you enough room to get underneath. So let's start picking this guy. I'm going to use these, I use these a lot, the multi-pick Elite G Pro number 1 and number 9. They're these curved flags they're curved in opposite directions from each other. I'll use the outer edge of the curve to push the pin outward. So this curve to the left, it curves to the right, but I'll use the outer side of the curve to push the pins on the left. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for pins that are binding. So this first one is not moving. So I'm going to go ahead and click it a little bit. And now it gives me the slightest bit of jiggle. It's pretty hard to perceive. And then I have it feels like the second one is slightly jiggly. So that might be like a no lift. And then I go back and these are all just loose. All just until I get to about here. This one also, I think that might be a no lift as well. So I'll go under, so I went underneath it to go further back. Another just jiggly one. And I'm at the back of the lock. Yeah, so there's a jiggly one and then there's one right here. All right, I don't know, I kind of slipped off of it. I think I might have got it though, let's see. Yeah, everything feels jiggly back there now. Oh, getting a little stuck. All right, come back to the beginning again. And that first one's still jiggly. The second one I think is a no lift. The third one here, can't seem to get on. So I'm having a hard time getting on the third one. So I'm gonna see if I can push some of the right ones out of the way. Maybe that'll allow me to get my pick on there better. So let's start at this first one. It's jiggling slightly, probably a no lift. Second one, still having a little bit hard time. I think I'm using too much tension. Yeah, second one I'm trying to get onto it. Oh, all right, so a little click from the second one. I got a little counter rotation, then a click on the second one. Dropped into a bit of a false set. Third one on the right. It's giving me some counter rotation, so I'll go ahead and... All right. Fourth one on the right. All right, it's not lifted, but it's not giving me any counter rotation. Since I'm in this false set now, I'm looking for counter rotation rather than just jiggle. And I don't see any counter rotation off that one, so I'll skip that one. Having a hard time. I'll go underneath. Maybe we'll come from the back. All right, the last one on the right. Having a hard time getting on it, but it is giving me a little counter rotation. So if I can work my way onto it. Oops, I think I got it. Yep, feels like I got that. It's now much higher than when I was trying to get onto it before. The one right in front of it, I think this is pin 5 on the right. It's giving me counter rotation. See if I can get on it. I lost it for a second there. Oh, dang it, it keeps slipping off of it. All right, there we go. 5, pin 4, that's the one that, no counter rotation from it. Go from the front again. Pin 1, no counter rotation. Pin 2. I feel like pin 2 was already set before. I might come back to that. It is giving me a little counter rotation, but I might come back to that guy. I'm not sure. Because I felt like I clicked it once before. Might have to see. Getting some Discord messages. All right, 1 on the left. Now going after left. No. And now this side is going to be harder to see the counter rotation because I'm rotating with the tension. So it's going to be harder to see the counter rotation. It's going to be more subtle. But I'm also not going to see me pushing on set pins and getting some counter rotation just because the rotation of the pick is going against the tensioner. So here I will see only true counter rotation, but it'll be very subtle. So let's see, the second one I'm having a hard time getting on. Oh. The first one, second one, third one. All right, so is that what I'm looking for right there? Yep, see, it's getting counter rotation from that. So I set that one. That was, I think, pin 4. Pin 5. I don't think it's giving me any counter rotation. I'm going all the way back. Pin 7, I'm pretty sure I hit before. I'll hit them again later if necessary. Don't seem to be getting on many pins back here. All right, 7 and 6 don't seem to do anything. 5 feels like a no lift. They got a certain feeling in here. The no lifts, like you can't get on them, and they got a certain feeling to them. That's hard to describe. They don't really move. They don't give you counter rotation. They give you just a tiny bit of jiggle, not much jiggle. So it's hard to tell from that. You gotta get used to it a little bit. The second one I think is no lift there. Third. Man, I'm having a hard time getting on these, being very camera shy. Let's check that right side one more time. Maybe there's something here I can move out the way to give me better access. Right, pin 1. Feels like a no lift. Pin 2. I said I might come back to because it's giving me counter rotation, so I will go ahead and set this another click. Oh, slipped off of it. All right, pin 2. That one's not giving me counter rotation. I think that's like pin 4. And nothing else giving counter rotation on the right side. So maybe it was pin 2 on the right side. Now I can go back to the left, see if I find something else. Pin 2 feels like max lift. Go underneath that. Pin 3. No counter rotation from pin 3. Okay. All right, double check that. No counter from 3. 4 seems already like it's all lifted all the way up. 5 feels like a max lift. 6 seems to be giving me a little counter rotation. Let's try that, and we're open. Whew, okay, so yeah, looking for those subtle counter rotations on the left side is a little bit tricky. And that right number 2, I wasn't sure if it was real counter rotation or if it was counter rotation from a key pin, and I wanted to be little bit cautious, so I left it for a bit, went to the left, came back to that right second one, and then I was able to go back to the left and feel the counter rotation. So now that that's open, I'll go ahead and turn on the autofocus and take a look inside. So my guy's open like that, and we'll lock them back up. Key, some screws, and I thought I brought everything down to open this up, and the one thing I didn't bring down was a Phillips head. I do have this little flathead precision screwdriver. Okay, good. Let's hope this one can also be got by it. No, good. All right, so got a little lucky there. I have a tiny pinning tray with me. All right, got this little thing. Got a little ring here. All right, you don't have to have it in this outer housing. You can just take this, the core, and just pick the core, right, like this. It does have nice little covers, so we'll start on the left side here. Pop that up. There we go. So left side, we'll put along the left side like this. So number 1, 2, so the number 1 is going to be closest to us. 3, 4. You could gut this through the plug as well, which is usually how I prefer to gut a lock, but this one has nice little covers, so might as well take advantage. All right, so 7. So 7 on the left, 6 on the right. There's pin 6. I'll worry about making them nice and pretty after, straighten them up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right side. I'm just using a flathead screwdriver and just lifting on the edge of that. It deals with that just fine. These out. So this side only has 6, so there's 13 pins in total, plus that one little ball bearing that won't come out this way. The ball bearing will only come out through gutting the plug. The ball bearing is actually right in there, but it's bigger than that hole, so it doesn't come out here. All right, 6. Driver for 5. Key pin for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. All right, so now everything's out. Sometimes it's nice to leave a little bit in and take the rear thing off, but it does you see it center biases because that ball bearing. Not really needed. There's nothing special about the plug, but let's see if we can get it out anyways. Can be a little tricky. Okay, got the C-clip. It's got this little actuator piece, and then it's turned sideways, I think. Okay, so that hole doesn't go through. This hole goes all the way through, so that means that the ball bearing's on this side. So let's try to catch it. There it goes. Put that back here, and then the spring that goes with it. All right, so plug-wise, nothing special there. It's got these little ledges down there so that the key pins can rest on that and not fall into the keyway. 7 on the side, 6 on this side. Little hole for the ball bearing and spring. This is a pin that's jammed in here, pressure fit. I think it's to, is it key stop? Yeah, key stop, right? And as for the pins, we have standard key pins like this in the brass color. And then we got these, like I was saying, they're like these mushroom-shaped spool pins. So you see how you need to counter-rotate to, as you come down, counter-rotate and jump off that bottom lip, right? Jump off that bottom lip and get underneath it. So that's the counter-rotation there. So 7 standard, 6 is one of those spools, 5 standard, 4 is a spool, 3 standard, 2 standard, 1 standard. So a lot of standards on the left, only 2 spools. On the right, we got 6 is one of those spools, 5 is one of those spools, 4 is a standard. So all the standards are brass colored. It's kind of nice. 3 is a spool, 2 is a spool, and 1 is a standard. So this side has a lot more spools on it. It's got 4 spools and only 2 standards. And then the key pins. This is just a standard key pin. Okay, it's just coming down to rest on the ledge. You're probably not going to overset one of these. I don't know if you can push it that far even. It probably doesn't have enough room in the chamber to go that high. But you got things like this, which was I think this was a no lift. And this one, you can see it has a spooled section. So you might push on here, get a counter rotation, and drop into here and be like, oh, okay, I got this one set. But now you're overset, and you can't push it further. You're going to be stuck if you overset that. This one, let's see if I can grab it in a way that you can see. It's sloped here to allow counter rotation. Not really to overset it again. This is another one of those that lip is just to rest on the ledge, but the fact that it's a little tapered here, you might push up on it, get a little counter rotation, and drop some other pins potentially. And those are really the only kinds of pins in here. Those standards, and then this, which has the little spooled section for just make you risk oversetting. So that is the iNaho Tierkey. All right, thanks everyone.